Hey, what's going on, everybody? Martino here. Today, I'm going to give my spoiler thoughts on season 3 of The Mandalorian, episode 7 and episode 8. So please stick around for that. Chapter 23 is called The Spies, and then chapter 24, the season finale, is called The Return. And I have a lot of thoughts on these. I know it's been a while, but I am back. I'm going to give my thoughts on The Mandalorian season 3 final 2 episodes. And like I said already, I'm not going to refrain from spoilers, so if you really haven't seen the show by now, you may want to tune out, but you probably don't care if you haven't seen the show by now, so you may as well stick around and listen to what I have to say. So I thought the 7th episode was really good. There was a lot of things getting carved out for Bo-Katan Kryze in this one, and I really enjoyed watching that. She kind of explained what happened, how Moff Gideon got the Darksaber from her, and I enjoyed the show filling in those blanks. I thought it was a very well directed episode, and I really enjoyed that. I love the stuff with Moff Gideon in here when he's talking with the guys about Thrawn. That was really incredible as well. I would have liked more gaps to have been filled about his escape for sure, because they did kind of set that up already, but hey, it already made a little bit more sense, and it's setting up Ahsoka in a big way, which I'm really excited about. I enjoyed all this stuff. I thought it was compelling. It felt very Star Wars. Filling in the gaps about what Katie O'Brien's character was doing with Gideon was also a fantastic touch, so I really enjoyed that. And it's pretty much action packed throughout the rest of the episode, and it's not like the greatest action we've seen in Star Wars, but it was pretty fun to watch. I did enjoy it. It was intense. It was a very thrilling episode. They try to retake Mandalore, but they can't. But what I really enjoyed here was this ending. The sacrifice that Paz Vizsla made was really cool. Din Djarin getting captured, it was a great way to end on a cliffhanger and then set something up for later, because it ends with the Praetorian Guards killing Paz Vizsla. So we immediately think, okay, sequels. It's kind of going to start to tie into the Star Wars sequels as well. So it was a really cool setup. All right, now talking about the finale of the season, though, it gets a little bit different. My attitude did change. I really didn't like the abrupt way it started. I know the last episode ended on a cliffhanger, but this one just started so abruptly, and it was really ridiculous and kind of stupid to me. There were a lot of like really bad, poorly thought out action scenes too. I mean, the one where the ships go flying by each other and none of them shoot at each other during the space battle was really odd. But the events that happened did not satisfy me as a viewer. They were kind of all explained away in a sentence or two. That was kind of my biggest issue here. It was like 3 seasons of build up, and we find out that, hey, Moff Gideon only had clones of himself. He wasn't cloning for the Emperor. He wasn't trying to get Grogu's blood for anything else but to make himself clones, and that was weird to me. I'm glad that they're tying it into cloning, but then it was explained away in a sentence, and then the final battle with Gideon felt like it had no stakes whatsoever. And as far as like where the story goes, like, I'm not one to be like, look, you know, it should have been this way because that's what I expected. That was my speculation on it. I'm not like that. My basic understanding of the proper way to critique when you have expectations is to let the writers tell the story, because everybody thinks they're a writer now. We are not. But at the same time, when you have plot points and you can think of like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways it can go that would have been better, then you start to run into a problem. I've seen criticisms on things where people had expectations and they were disappointed, and they were like, look, I wanted it to go this one way specifically. Unless it goes that way, it's not good. That's a wrong way to critique. But I think that when I'm watching something and I can like come up with so many different better ways it can go, then it becomes an issue. When it feels generic, it becomes an issue. Look, the budget was fantastic. I mean, the episode looked beautiful. I gotta hand it to Rick on the camera work. For the most part, it was pretty good. I did think a couple of the fights did feel a little lackluster, though. I still think Mandalorian is struggling in this season to find ways to come up with very compelling action shots that don't feel like just a bunch of people shooting at each other, and that is something that really turns me off. I think Star Wars was always praised for its creative style and its action, and Mandalorian season 3 just has not delivered on that, and that's a huge disappointment to me. So little lackluster there, little issue, little hiccup, and something that I just wish wasn't the case, but here we are, and unfortunately, yeah, I was a little burnt by that. So yeah, that sucks. But yeah, guys, I was really just disappointed overall with the end of the season, especially with Mando and Grogu just kind of living on a ranch and just this thing feeling so finalized when we know there's more seasons coming. It just didn't feel like a series finale. Not that it was supposed to be, but it felt like they were trying to go for like this like culminating thing of the first 3 seasons, and they've said as much in public interviews that the first 3 seasons are coming to a halt here. And I just wasn't thrilled with the payoff of everything that was set up in seasons 1 and 2. Like, looking back on this whole thing, like, there just wasn't a lot of good building to this finale. And then once we got the story and it was great, it felt very lackluster by the time we got like the second part of this finale, because 7 and 8 do feel like they play into each other, which is why I'm talking about them as a pair, because they are both directed by Rick Famuyiwa. They are telling the same story within the season and trying to wrap it all up, and I just think it failed miserably at that. And it kind of disappoints me for the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian too, because of everything that was set up with Grogu and why Gideon wanted his blood. Just doesn't work at the end of the day for me. All right, guys, those are my thoughts on The Mandalorian Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of the show. And before I get out of here, as always, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit the bell for notifications. That's always much appreciated. Once again, I am Don Martino, and I will talk to you guys later.